Hello everyone, welcome back to Breakage Barriers. My name is Blessing, also known as Lady B. In continuation of the topic on sacrifice, one of the common and most popular ongoing type of sacrifice today in our world is sacrifice of humans, which I personally find diabolic because human life is supposed to be one of the most valuable lives, because you're taking someone else's existence for your own personal gains, for your own selfish reasoning, so that the one who is offering the human life can benefit greatly in terms of wealth or riches, all in the name of sacrifice or in the expectation of benefiting greatly out of the demise of another human being, to be able to gain material things like properties, cars, wealth in whatever form, or to be able to have some sort of spiritual power over another, because these sacrifices are done for different reasons. Human beings involved in sacrifices for different reasons, and like we now know, sacrifices are in two forms: good or evil. In my last video I gave examples of this. So what type of sacrifice involving the demise of another human being, what aspect of that is good? And some people might listen to this discussion today and be like, oh, well, I'm not involved in any human rituals. But the fact is that when another human being's life is taken for the purposes of gaining wealth, it's a form of sacrifice. When a nation is attacked and you have the loss of life of so many of its citizens just because the resources of that nation has to be accessible, that is a form of sacrifice. The human lives are sacrificed to get the resources. When you find yourself, you are a person who is hungry for power so that you can have the position of being dominant over the other people, and then you go after a sect of people or a particular person to cause harm, hurt the person, destroy the person, even while the person is still alive. That is a type of sacrifice, because you're sacrificing that person's emotional and mental well-being in order for you to have a position of power over that person or group of people. That as well is a form of sacrifice. But how did it get this bad amongst us human beings that we have to take one another's life in order to gain wealth, riches, for selfish purposes? Because as I've come to find, in the ancient African culture, this form of sacrifices was not the norm nor acceptable. What was acceptable then was the sacrifice of animals. So what they did was to get animals like lambs, goats, or sheep, slaughter them as a form of sacrifice to deities or to the ancestors. That was the common practice then. But we see these rituals as, oh, African rituals, it's evil, it's not human enough, and all that stuff. But what we have right now is that people are either directly or indirectly being sacrificed in order to gain some form of resources, wealth, or power. Why sacrifice human beings? Is it that the sacrifice of the animals is not enough or good enough? Why offer humans as a form of gifts or sacrificial offerings to deities or for selfish purposes? But the irony is that these sacrifices are being performed currently in our world in a different way. Why do we have people taking other people's life because they want accessibility to their properties, to their wealth, people being murdered? And in these discussions that I make, I will always go back to the Bible narrative. Why? Because I'm a Christian. And the Bible narrative talks about sacrificing of animals being something of old, something that is ancient, something that is past. And so Christianity has to embrace Jesus Christ, who was in form of a human here on earth, being sacrificed or offered as a gift to save the entirety of humanity, which is a form of human sacrifice. How you look at this is now up to you. The Bible narratives explains that human sacrifice supersedes all, supersedes the animal sacrifice, supersedes any other sacrifice, which is correct. Why? Because the human life, there's greater value for the human life in comparison to animals and other types of objects used as a form of gift. So if human life is more valuable, the question is, why sacrifice the human lives? Because sacrificing a human life as a gift or an offering is more closely related to destroying that life to gain another. If there's so much value attached to the human life, why destroy it? If I'm to give an example of a person owning gold or diamonds, you don't take these items and destroy it. Why? Because there's great value attached to it. Instead, you can trade this item to gain something of greater value, but you don't take these valuables and destroy them. So is the concept of sacrifice really being understood? Or are we as humans missing the mark in understanding the purpose of sacrifice? If our life as humans is of great worth, why destroy another person's life to make yours comfortable? Or to have access to a group of people's resources? Is that not part of contributing a greater evil energy in the universe? Is that not a continuation of destruction, which is representative of evil in the universe? But if we're to look at sacrifice as a way of collateral rather than way of destruction, maybe, and I say maybe, there will be some form of reasoning to this. But again, understanding how humanity works, how will the collateral be understood if it's not taught well? Human life is of great value. We are here for a moment. Once that life is taken, it's gone. It cannot be replicated. The journey is finished for that human being. So before you go taking other person's life in the form of a sacrificial offering, know that you're contributing to the continuation of the existence of the evil energies persisting in this world, and there's always a consequence attached to it. If we are to look at this from a human perspective, sacrificing another human being's life is diabolic, it's unacceptable, and is wrong. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Hope to catch you again in the next video. Take care now. Bye.